I'm Allison. Welcome to Flosstube number 21. This is the video where I talk about my cross stitch and all my other stitchy and quilty and sewy updates. It's kind of a Flosstube crafty vlog. It's evolved over the past almost 2 years, believe it or not. I'm filming on May 7th, 2025. If you're new, thanks for giving this a chance. I know I have a lot of new people watching the tutorials. The Flosstubes I do once a month, and then everything else in between, tutorials, cross stitch, machine embroidery, punch needle, anything anybody wants to see, definitely let me know, put it in the comments, and quilting. I'm going to jump right in. This quilt is the Layer Cake Carousel. It's a free shortcut quilt pattern by Fat Quarter Shop. I'll link it in the description box below. The fabric is Lighthearted by Camille Ross Kelly, and I'm a long arm quilter, so I quilted this myself. I use the Cross Stitcher program, and I have a baby lock regalia. You probably noticed a cut there. I do edit my videos. I have a couple of dogs on the couch behind this quilt, and there's a canary down the hall, and I'm in front of a window, and there's a lot of birds. If we get a delivery or I need to stop for animal medication or an animal sneezes or barks or something, I do go ahead and cut that out of the video. It helps move it along smoothly. I have a lot to share today. If this is your first time watching one of my floss tubes, I do start with cross stitch, and I also have punch needle in with my cross stitch, and then I go into all of my other crafts. I am a lifelong crafter. I learned a lot of crafts from my mom, and then as I got older and YouTube got popular, I started picking up my crafts again and relearning some of the crafts that I didn't have time to do while I was in school. I'm going to jump right in with my cross stitch. I have some fully finished objects, some finished objects, and work in progress, and some stitch along updates. My first fully finished object is the Quilter Word Swap by Stitching with the Housewives. This is a stitch along that I decided to host for the year, but I'll be honest with you, and I mentioned this last time, it's really hard to follow now that I can't follow hashtags on Instagram. If you're stitching along, tag me so I can post. Otherwise, this is my second finish for the stitch along. I did the Hogs and Kisses. You can see that in 1 or 2 floss tubes ago. I did a pretty simple finish with this. It's a Make Market tray, and it came unfinished. I went ahead and I stained it. I'll hold the tag up. This comes from Michael's. I want to make sure that focuses. I'm pretty sure you can still get these. I've got my piece on sticky board, and this is stitched on, let me turn it around, look at it. It's a Fabric Flare 14 count board. I always say it wrong. I will link it below. The pattern has a stitched detail right here, but since this fabric has that nice line, I lined it up. I changed the colors to match the colors of the first quilt that I made. The little spools are done with long stitch or straight stitch, whatever you want to call it. And because it's on 14 count, I had to split the squares. So you go 1 stitch in between and 1 stitch in the hole that's already on the fabric. I'm hoping the focus will be better. I've changed a couple of features on the camera. I had some trouble with some focus features on my tutorials. This is our Quilter Word Swap. Now, I've shown my Funky Chicken Rooster before, and I think last time I showed the Funky Chicken Hen. I just wanted to show them both again because I have a work in progress to share and a Funky Chicken stitch along update. So here's the chickens. I have a punch needle finish. This is from Kimberbell. This is punch needle Sew SEW and Sew SOW kit. This was in the Bella box. If you've seen any of the recent uploads, I did an unboxing of the Bella box and what was inside, and this came inside the box. The box did sell out, and in fact it sold out a lot faster than they anticipated. So I'm sorry I can't put a link to that below, but I wanted to share it because it's done. There's another Bella box coming out later this year in the fall. If you don't know what a Bella box is, you can still watch my unboxing video. I'm leaving it up on the channel, and you can see the tutorials and a lot of the projects that were in the box. Here's the punch needle. I really like their punch needle kits. If you've been watching for a while, you know my adventures with punch needle. And the other punch needle that I tried first that didn't go as well. But it's a coaster, so every time I film floss tubes, I use it. I like the kimberbell kits. They're different. They've got some fabric in them. They call them Punch Needle Plus. This gets ironed down before you start. This one has the little spool button, and there's a button in here. I'm going to hang this in my sewing room. There are patriotic kits. They're actually released today. I'm filming, I think I already said, but just in case, I'm filming on May 7th, and they're being released today. I need to go do some shopping. I really like the patriotic ones. There's our punch needle, and I will talk about some kimberbell products later in the video. Let me show, I have 2 finishes that I have not had time to FFO yet. Sorry, plastic. I've been working on the Sewing Spool Trio. This was sent to me by a Flosstube viewer, thank you. I stitched the one that looks like a tape measure, and I do have a finish in mind for this, and I have the finishing piece ready, and it's in the other room, and I forgot to bring it in to show you, but I'll show it next time because I should have it FFO'd by then. This is on 10 count, and I stitched it with sulky threads. I wanted to stitch it on 10 count so it would be bigger to go with the finishing idea I had, and I changed my finishing idea, but this one's better. It's going to end up being a lot better. My first idea, I'll share my first idea, was to use this to make a drawstring bag. But I was going to have to line it, and when I measured it, it was a little bit too big for what I had in mind. I thought I had kind of planned it out quite right, but this is going to go with a particular sewing machine in my sewing room. Hopefully next time I'll be able to share that. And it was 4 strands of sulky because the 10 count, the holes are so big. I do want to show this project bag. I have 1 tea-themed project bag left in my shop. I do make the quilted project bags. I serge the seams on the inside. Hopefully that'll focus, kind of. They're all lined, and they usually have a charm or a really nice detachable zipper fob. This one has tea-themed charms on it. There's 1 more of these left. My Etsy shop will be linked below. It raises money for our Forever Home Animal Sanctuary, and I'll have an animal update at the end of this video. My next finish is Happy Camper by Lori Holtz and Bee in My Bonnet. I think Fat Quarter Shop printed this one. This chart does have another row like this underneath here, but I left that off and I stitched it on a 16 count natural Aida because it's going to go in a particular frame, which I seem to have misplaced, but I know I'll find it. That's why this isn't FFO'd. I think I know where it is. I set it aside so I wouldn't forget where I put it, and I forgot where I put it. But this is going to go in a particular frame. So hopefully next time I will have that available to show. It's hard to see the yellow. Like, she's got yellow hair, and there's a little yellow flag. It kind of blends in. I probably should have made that a different color. I bet you can hear the bird. He's really going. Happy Camper. Going to start in on my whips. This is in a chicken bag, and if you're new, whips is work in progress. There's a couple chicken bags left in the shop. The top is different, so make sure you look at that. Again, quilted line serged. I'm working on the 3rd Funky Chicken. I'm hosting a stitch along, Funky Chicken Sal. I started it last year. I'm still not done. I'm getting there. What I'm doing for the month of May, well, not the month of May, what I'm going to do from now on going forward, I'm going to be focusing on finishing some things and picking a focus piece. So for this month, I'm hoping to finish Funky Chicken. Let me show you where I am. I'm on the 2nd hen. This does come with the rooster, which is the first one that I did. It's the biggest chart. And then the hen. There's 2 hens. And there's a finishing video on my YouTube channel where I show you how to put your little chicken together. Let me bring him into focus. There we go. You do have to sew it together, add the little pieces of felt, and stuff it. Whoops. These have the little sayings on them. and the little sayings end up on the bottom of the chicken. Hen number 2. Sorry, I had to cut there. When I pulled it out, everything came out of the bag. It was a disaster. Here's where I am. This will be just like the others. It's going to go all the way up. They're about that big, and whatever you stitch on one side stitches on the other. This is going to be my focus piece, and again, this is a stitch along that I'm hosting. I'll put the hashtag on the screen. Got to get it done. I'm finding that I don't like having a whole lot of unfinished projects. I think I mentioned that last time. I know there are a lot of people who do Stitch Mania and they start a bunch of stuff. I need to finish some stuff. I'm gonna lean over and set this down. While I'm focusing on the chicken, that means I have to neglect some other things. And I have some stitch alongs going with some other Flosstube viewers, so my apologies. But as soon as the chicken's done, I'll be back on these. The first one I did show last time. I'm working on, let me pull it out. I'm working on the Halloween Rules by Lizzie Kate. I'm doing this with 2 tall stitchers. We did a stitch along last year, Lizzie Kate series Sal, and we kept it going and picked up another, another series to stitch. So there's a bunch of charts for this. You can still get them on 1, 2, 3 stitch. Each chart actually has 2 charts in it. I'm at the same place I was last time, but let me go ahead and show the progress. I'm stitching this on 16 count Vintage Country Mocha, and I have it on a scroll frame because it's such a long piece. But here's where I am. It looks really cute. It's going to look great when it's done. Once I'm done with my chicken, I have to pick up some of these other ones. I just find that when I'm doing, this one night, something else the next night, something else the next night, for me, nothing gets done. I cross stitch at night before bed. I don't usually cross stitch during the day. So I need to focus on something. That's my Halloween Rules. And another stitch along I'm doing with the Stitching Owl. We're doing the Ornament Sal. This is another one that's going all year, stitch an ornament, any ornament. I'll put the hashtag on the screen. And I'm keeping mine in this vinyl front bag. I have some vinyl front bags left, not many, but if you like the vinyl front bag, they aren't what I would call, this one's very Valentine's, but they're not necessarily Valentine's, but there's lots of hearts and things on the ones that are left in the shop. So go ahead and have a look. I'm working on the Sweetheart ornaments. These are a Fat Quarter Shop, It's So Emma release. And I'm using the Called For DMC and stitching on 25 count Shadow Lugana. I've got some done. I'll show you the ones I have done. And then I did start another one, but then I set it aside and decided I wanted to get the last chicken done. So let's look at the ones that are done. We've got February 14th. And these are 30 by 30. They go really quick. Little conversation heart. Heart with a bow. Camera heart. And I started the little pickup truck. I gotta be careful, my needle's right there. There's the little pickup truck. I did start that. Like I said, once I finish the chicken, I'm going to move on to some of these other stitches. That's my Sweetheart ornaments. I'm going to set that down. I have 2 more cross stitch projects I'm working on that are kind of waiting in the wings. This one is in a Lori Holt project bag. I have some Lori Holt patchwork project bags in the shop. Check it out. I have the, I don't know if you want to call it a big bag or standard size bag like this, and then I also have smaller bags for your floss. If you like like a half size bag for stitching smalls or your floss, they're great for that. I have not stitched on this. I did show it last time. Again, this is going to wait. I'm working on clearing my whip basket, but I'm on the Chicken Club number 4 Beatrice, and I started these when they came out. I've talked about it before, but I'm stitching on 14 count chicken wire by Fabric Flare with the Called For DMC. I'm usually always stitching something with a chicken. I find it just happens whether or not it's intentional or unintentional. There's the chicken. And then something that's probably going to sort of languish until everything else is done is the Cycling Fun by Bothy Threads. It's got a whole lot of backstitch. I did show it last time. I'm in the same place as last time. I'll go ahead and pull it up just in case you're new and you can see what I'm working on. But that's where I am. And I started this last year during the Tour de France, so July 2024, and that's all I've stitched on it. It's hard for me to stitch on this one. You really need to pay attention to the chart, and like I said, I stitch at night and sometimes I'm just tired. So I may have to dedicate some daytime stitching to that once I get through some of these other pieces. And last time I did forget to show, I do have something planned coming up for July, for Christmas in July. I have these available. This is made with the AmniconStudio's Kimberbell Cup of Cheer fabric line on the front, and then I've got candy canes on the back. And they all have a little Christmas charm on them. They're all a little different. Let me hide my face so it'll focus on the charm. There we go. I'm going to do a Prairie Schooler Santa stitch along, and I've got, did I get everything in here? I have my DMC, but I don't have my fabric picked out yet. Let's see if I can do this without showing the chart. I keep showing the chart when I hold this up because it's on the back. But I'm going to be stitching this one, but I'm not going to start this until July, which at this point will be here really quick. I've never stitched one of these Santas before. My mom gave me some of the charts. I've got them all in this bag. I'll be stitching one. So if you have a Prairie Schooler Santa and you've always wanted to stitch it, make sure you come back in July, stitch it with me. I turned off the camera and I wanted to move some things to get to other things, and I had that scroll frame down on the floor in the basket. I bent down and I picked up the basket and I went this way and it went whack, and it hit me right in the nose. I almost got up to put ice on it. Don't hit yourself in the face with a scroll frame. That hurts. The first thought I had is that, was it Brady Bunch, where they were throwing the football in the house, and I think, did Marcia get it in the face? I can't remember. That was a long time ago, and she got all black and blue. I don't think it's turning red or anything. That really hurt. Oh, goodness. Okay, we are done with the cross stitch. Oh, I do want to mention mom's stitching. I'm going to have some updates for my mom's cross stitch stuff. Next time, I'm going to be getting some things from her to help her FFO, and I'll make sure to get all the information and I'll post those pictures in Flosstube. It'll be 22 next time. So make sure you like and subscribe and watch mom's stuff next time. Before I move on from cross stitch, and I have a lot of stuff. I have a lot of really neat crafts to show. I hope you stay if you're a cross stitcher. Just enjoy it. It's fun. It's always fun to look at pretty things. I want to mention some Flosstube Friends. These are channels that I watch, and they're a little bit smaller, under 1,000 subscribers, at least when I was putting together my list. Some of them are really close. And they put out videos on a regular basis. Really nice ladies I talk to over Instagram. They post on Instagram. They post their floss tubes. I'm going to put all the names on the screen, and then I will link everybody below. I'll go through them really quick, and I hope I say them all correctly. I have AmniconStudio, Wendy's Whimsical Stitches, Sin City Cross Stitcher, Jess Craft Stitches, the Okie Stitcher, Count Twice, Stitch Once, Lone Star Stitchers, and Mel of Hope Stitches. These are channels that I watch on a regular basis and probably could use a little stitchy love. I'll link them below. Leave them a comment. Let them know I said hi. I try to watch as many as I can, and I always try to comment. Sometimes I run out of time to comment, but these are people who I watch regularly, and I also watch The Stitching Owl, of course. We're doing that stitch along, and Two Tall Stitchers. I'm going to show some other finishes. I'm going to put a picture on the screen. I've been showing the kaleidoscope blocks. I cut a couple of test blocks
The intent was to make a quilt out of the kaleidoscope blocks, but this is for a custom order, and these blocks are really labor intensive. They're going to take a very, very long time to make. So we decided to change the quilt. I can't show that right now, but I've got the pattern picked out and all the fabric cut, and it's going to be beautiful when it's done.
Let's see. Oh, let's go through some haul. I do have a cross stitch, quilty, and stitchy kindness to share. My mom let me look at I have to give it back though, the Jess cross stitch. Let's see, it says display until July 21. Oh, the summer 2025. I have to say I love the little guy on the cover, the little chameleon. So I'd like to stitch this. I'm not sure when I'll find the time, but I'd really like to stitch that. I have to give it back to Mom now. I have one item here. We'll go with the stitchy kindness next. One of my Flosstube viewers, hi, you know who you are, sent me this really fun old school kimberbell project. This is a sew it by number paper piecing throughout the year. They don't even make things like this anymore. They do all machine embroidery now. They used to do some sewing, some machine embroidery, then they would put out items that were available as both. This is from 2016. There's actually a date right there at the bottom. I don't know if you can see that. I'm behind the camera. But this is, I think they call it foundation paper piecing. It says mini quilt, mug rugs, pin cushions, ornament, hot pads, mini shelf pillows, quilt blocks, frame decor, banners, table runners, and more. This looks like foundation paper piecing to me. Not a big fan of foundation paper piecing, but I have some ideas on what to do with these patterns because all the patterns are inside of it. I just have to find the time. What was really interesting for me to see, and I hope I have some other kimberbell instructions next to me, but all their instructions now are full color, glossy, step by step, and these were, black and white regular paper. They're still good quality, they're great instructions, but for me it was fun to see something that's a little bit older. So thank you for sending this to me. I love it, it's cool. I have 2 items of quilty haul, and then I have some fun projects to share. I did buy the next Jolly Bar book from Fat Quarter Shop. This is volume 5. The only thing I noticed, I think around volume 3, they started doing all the quilts like this, picking solids. I think the idea was to make them more evergreen than showing the original fabric lines that the quilts were made in, like on the cover of this. Let me show the cover again. But I like them in the original fabric lines better. Yeah, you can see on the cover, see this is made with something, and the same thing on the backing. But inside the book, they're all shown with these solids. But I do still like the Jolly Bar books. The Jolly Bar is their 5x10 pre-cut. So you can, of course, use fabric scraps, layer cakes, really nice books. Let's see, there's 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14. There's 20 patterns in this book. It's a good value. If you're a quilter, I do like these. I think I have all of them at this point. I bought a panel. I've never sewn with a panel. I think I have a small collection of panels. Let's open it. You'll see why I bought it. I forget what it's called, Farm Holiday or something. I'll look it up. I'll put it on the screen in case you want to buy it. I haven't even looked at it yet. It's so cute. Well, this is the top half. You can see the night sky, and you can see the top of a barn. You gotta see the bottom half. It's a pink barn. Pink barn. Chickens. Guess why I bought it? It's got chickens. Isn't that cute? I'll have to make something with this. This was one of the things I put on my wish list. You can do that with Fat Quarter Shop. When this came out, I put it on my wish list. And I wait until I have enough to get free shipping and hope things don't sell out. So this was definitely something that I bought so I could get free shipping. I think the panel was $8 or $9 and shipping costs $5, so why not buy something you're going to do something with? So cute. I'll put the name of the panel on the screen and I'll link it below. This is the part where it starts to get messy and I move everything around. Last time I showed the bookish embroidery projects from Kimberbell, and they were provided to me by Kimberbell. I am a Kimberbell affiliate. I use their products. I've done that before. In fact, I've got my spring showers quilt, which if you've been watching, I've been showing you an update. I started that years ago. So it's stuff I would make anyway. But I used the bonus designs. I made some tote bags. This one says bookish. Let me bring that in closer so you can see the colors. This was a really old fat quarter bundle. It may even be the first fat quarter bundle I bought. It's called The Bright Side or Bright Side, Robert Kaufman Wishwell Fabrics. You can still find it on Etsy. And I have a tutorial on my channel how to make this because it's made with a pre-made canvas blank. So in short, you have to cut off the sides and open it and do the embroidery and put it back together. And I lined it with a fusible fleece. I'll link the tutorial below for that. And this goes with that pillow I showed last time, the book pillow. I made 2 bags. This is the one that I do step by step in the tutorial. And this one I did first to make sure I knew what I was doing. This is the book lover. And these are bonus designs from the book kits. I'll put everything below. I always link everything below. That way you don't have to go looking for it. And they're just plain on the back. But the same thing, I did the fabric and the embroidery and the applique and used that pre-made tote. Let's look at the spring showers. I've been showing that. I won't go through all the blocks because I did that the last 2 times. This I started in 2022. It got set aside. I'd like to finish it this year. I'm working on a little bit each month because I'm doing so many other things right now. This is an embroidery machine quilt. You make it block by block on your embroidery machine. You need a minimum 5x7 hoop. I've done 3 blocks since last time, or more depending on how you count them. I finished my beehive block, and I made sure my bees were going the right direction. You can watch Flosstube 20 and see my circus bees on the block that's going to go next to this one. And then this is going to have a little bee right here that gets sewn on the end. And I haven't trimmed these blocks yet. These orange peel blocks go in the corners of the quilt. So I have them labeled upper left, upper right, lower left, lower right, and I had to be careful of my fabric placement so they would look balanced in the quilt. So I did 4 of these, and these all have, it's hard to tell, there's quilting underneath the applique. And I think I got all my bees the right direction on these. Never pick a directional fabric for your background. And it's hard too because I walked away from this one for a while and I started it up again last year, this year. And then I realized that I shouldn't have picked that background. And then I've got log cabin blocks. Let me pull those out. And again, these aren't trimmed yet. I'm just finishing them, then I'm going to go back and trim them all. You can see the line here, that's kind of the trimming line. So what's kind of hanging over, all that's going to go. So I've got 1, 2, 3 of these. Those are the log cabin blocks. And what I did for this quilt, I copied the front from the contents and I've been checking everything off. If it's got a pink check mark, I finished that block. You can kind of see what I've got left. Let's see. I have 4 bees. Let's get the pen out so I don't lose track. Okay, so there's 4 bees, a toadstool, 2 birdhouses, 1, 2, 3 sets of boots, a wagon, a filler block, and a grass border. How fast can you do math? 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. I have 13 blocks left. So it's May, June, July, August, September. If I do 3 or more, 3 or maybe 4, I should be done. I'm trying to do at least 3 between each floss tubes. I'll try and do 4 next time. That would finish all the blocks in the fall, and then I have to trim them all and put them together and put on all the embellishments. They have all these cutesy little things to put on them. But that's my progress on that. I'm hosting a sew along for the Kimberbell Star Spangled Beauty Ladder Quilt. I'm hosting this on my YouTube. I'm doing weekly videos, and I'm putting pictures and reels and things on my Instagram. I'll link it below. There's a schedule you can download for that. Of course, I didn't bring the schedule in with me, but that's okay. There's also new patriotic punch needles. They're going to go really well with this quilt. They're being released on the 7th, which is today, the day I'm filming. I'm really excited. I just found out before I sat down to film that I'm going to be able to collaborate and do a giveaway for punch needle. Make sure you follow me on Instagram. It's MRS_AZFamilyZoo. As soon as I get those packages, it should be in the next 3 or 4 days, you'll start seeing posts on my Instagram about what's being given away, how to win the giveaway, how to enter, all that good stuff. Make sure to follow my Instagram. Keep an eye out for that. For the stitch along for the ladder quilt, I'm doing about 4 blocks per week. And full disclosure, this item was provided to me by Kimberbell. And the stitch along was my idea. I just decided if I'm going to make the whole thing and show it, I might as well do a stitch along. I've got 2 weeks worth of blocks. They're all in plastic. I'm going to see how they show on the camera before I take them out. These blocks have been trimmed, unlike the spring showers one, which I haven't trimmed yet because I'm going start to finish for my tutorials. Let's work through them. Let's see, stars and flowers. Little glary. I'll pull them out and I'll edit. This is the stars and florals block. You'll see there's a couple of pins sticking out of this block. If you watch my video, you can see what I did when I cut the block. I had a slight mistake. That's to remind me later to be careful as I put it in the quilt. America the Beautiful. And all these blocks have the background quilting. You don't have to do the background quilting. It's an option. You can buy the background quilting bundle. But mine have the background quilting. So it's like making a quilt as you go quilt. There's already batting inside of this block. It's quilted, and then you do your embroidery and your applique on top. This is Land That I Love, and I've posted pictures of these on my Instagram. Might be a reel, might not be pictures. Heart block number 1, heart block number 2. I have 4 more blocks to show you. This is the Let Freedom Ring, Star Trio, Blue Petals, and the vase block. Now this block, see this background quilting? It's kind of a plaid. It's going to have another block that goes on top that has the flowers. It'll be interesting to see if I got this right, where I can line everything up. That's the Star Spangled Beauty Ladder Quilt. See the ladder? My husband made me a ladder. I'll have to show that next time too. He actually went and got wood and built a ladder and made it to the specifications I would need to hang the quilt and stained it. It looks really good. I'll have to show that to you. I showed this one before. These are the Playful Pet Kerchiefs. This is available now as a digital download. Kimberbell was kind enough to send me the CD. They were kind of clearing out of some of their products that are on CD, and they sent me the CD and a package of the pet kerchiefs. There's 2 per package, so I stitched out 2. I still need to do my pet fashion show. We've had the weirdest weather. It's like it rains and it gets cold, and then it's 90 degrees the next day, and then it's cloudy, and then it's windy. It's been windy, which it's really hard to photograph animals when it's windy. This one says, "You're a possum." And it's got the little Kimberbell tag on it. And I think, oh, I forgot to cut. There's a jump thread between the paw prints. I forgot to cut that. These have snaps on them, so they snap over the collar. And then you run the collar through it, and it's ready to go. And there's instructions that show you how to size it. And the next one that I did says, "I'm the reason we can't have nice things." And again, this will snap over the collar like that. I made this one bigger because I want to snap it closed, and I want to run a ribbon through it, and I want to put it on the pig and see if I can get it on the pig and take a picture. Make sure you follow me on Instagram. I'll put it on there. I really need to get this done. They're sitting on the counter in the kitchen to remind me so I don't forget. It's just been a little crazy around here. I'm going to show some projects from the Bella box, even though I don't have the box here with me, but this is part of the instructions. There's bonus designs included. Even though the box sold out, I'll show you what I made. Oh, and there's a project missing. I have to go get it. Now I have everything. I'll show you all the projects that were in the box, and all these projects I made start to finish tutorials on. They are useful for other machine embroidery techniques and things. The projects are specific to the box, but if you're interested to see what comes in a Bella box, because there's another one coming in the fall, this will give you an idea of how much stuff you get in the box. The first project I did out of the Bella box was the embroidered clock, and I just noticed there's a piece of fuzz underneath the clock. It's staying. I'm not taking this clock apart. I have a tutorial on this. It shows you how to make the clock. I've got a little bit of a glare. I'll go ahead and tilt that. This is all done on the embroidery machine, and then you put together the clock. This was definitely different. And the clock, has a clock component on the back. I think you can buy stuff like this at craft stores, and you can make your own kind of clock, and you can buy a clock blank. Maybe you've got a cross stitch or something. Maybe this gives you an idea. That was fun to make. The hardest part for me was getting the hands lined up. They're a thin metal and they bend easily, so as they're going around the clock you have to make sure that they don't touch or they don't work. This is already up in my sewing room. I can't believe there's a thread underneath it. I wiped it before I sealed the clock. If I really wanted to, I could unscrew these screws. They're underneath the tape here. I talk about this in my how-to video. And I could wipe the inside of this. I didn't notice it because when you look at the clock straight on, it's a little piece of white thread and it's right about here. Not a big deal. I'm going to hang that back up. I did the Hexie Blooms pin cushion. This is done machine embroidery, and then you did have to stitch it together. And in the box they gave you the little pellets and the stuffing to put inside. Really cute. The hardest part for this project for me was turning it right side out. I've got kind of big hands, and I just had a hard time with something this small getting it turned right side out, but I got it done. Came out really nice. I have a little door hanger. It says "Welcome to my happy place." This one was made in a 5x7 hoop. There's one you can make in a larger hoop. It comes in 2 sizes, but I didn't have the right size of stabilizer to make the larger one, so this hangs on the door. That was a lot of fun. This was different. I've never made anything like that before. A folding storage tote, which I have stuff in. You've seen these before. I've shown some of these before. This one says "Fabric is my favorite color." I did put up a tutorial for this, but it works for all the folding storage totes, and it shows how you assemble it and put it together and embroider on it. There's the "Fabric is my favorite color." And what I considered to be the most difficult project out of the box was this scissor zipper pouch. I have a tutorial on this. It's kind of long because I had a hard time, honestly, reading some of the instructions, but I did figure it out. You just need to go really slow and take your time with it. Let me show you the inside. This is made with one of their zipper pouch blanks, so it's lined. I've got a pair of scissors in here. Let me take the scissors out. Scissors. It's got the nice lining on the inside, and it stitches out in this shape. This blank is a rectangle blank, and this is all done on your embroidery machine. It didn't fit my big giant pinking shears. They were a little too big. These are, I think they're Fiskars? I don't know. They don't say. But they're fabric scissors, and now nobody can touch them but me because I know where they are. They're in their secret zipper pouch. The chicken and I have some other fun things to share. I'm going to put up on the screen a picture of it's Barbara's Mastectomy Instagram. This is my husband's business, and I wanted to show this because I made them a quilt to hang up in the office, and then the nice young ladies who work there started an Instagram account. So if you know anybody who needs any of this type of service, it's in Phoenix, Arizona, but they do ship. I just thought I'd show it. It was really fun to see my quilt hung up in the office. That quilt was made using the support group pattern by Lori Holt, and the fabrics I made that with are from the Afternoon Tea fabric line by Bev McCullough, a Riley Blake designer. Now the rooster's here. The rooster wants you to know I do have a website and blog for the animals. I'll go ahead and link that below. I just updated the website. I added a section for all the machine embroidery things and for that quilt along where you can download your schedule. So that'll be on there as well. I hope you've stuck with us. I'm going to move on to animal and bird buddy updates. Everybody seemed to like the bird buddy, so I've got some stuff from that. Pictures are going to come up on the screen for you. We are going to start with everyone is out of hibernation. I'll put up a picture of Patches. He was our last desert tortoise to come out of hibernation. He popped up a couple of days ago. It's always nice to see them. It's kind of weird to have pets that disappear for half of the year. And then I'm going to put up pictures of Sweetie, the sulcata tortoise, and Chipotle, the box turtle. You'll see they're sitting on their food trays. I don't know how they learn this. We don't teach them this, but after a while, they all seem to know to sit and wait for their food. It's kind of funny. You go out there to feed them, and they're all sitting there looking at you, saying, hey, come on, where's my breakfast? There they are waiting for their food. I have an update on Libby. I mentioned she had a seizure last time, and she's been doing pretty well with them. We didn't need to adjust the medication, but she did need to go to the vet again. We thought, again, that she had a bladder infection, and the vet did some tests, urinalysis and some screening tests, and found out the urinary pH was incorrect. It wasn't right. So we had to start her on special prescription dog food. That's the best way to handle it. She really likes the new food, thankfully, and she seems to be doing well. The bird buddy. Unfortunately, the squirrels have discovered the bird buddy. And we have baby squirrels. Oh my goodness, we must have 7 baby squirrels in our yard. They are just making a mess. They dig up everything, steal bird seed, all sorts of stuff. I'll close out the video with that. I'll put some squirrel stuff at the very end. For the bird buddy, we had some new birds since last time. We had a grackle and a verdin, and we did have our cardinal back again. I've got a really funny picture I'll pop up of the cardinal kind of giving the stink eye to the dove. Not sure how to get rid of the doves. I had a regular birdseed feeder out there and I took that down, and that seems to help. We're focusing on finch food and sunflower seeds and peanuts, but the doves still come around. And oh my goodness, peanuts and squirrels, you can see where that's gonna go. If it's not one thing, it's another. I hope to have the final chicken done next time. Cross your fingers, it's gonna be my focus piece, and I'm gonna be working through that whip basket. I have on my shelf, I have a lot of charts, but I have a Biscornu and Mill Hill kit, and I've been wanting to start both of those, so I need to finish some stuff first before I start something else. And again, I'll put my Instagram on the screen. There's going to be a punch needle giveaway coming in the next few days. If you have any comments or questions, any feedback, anything you'd like to see, please put it in the comments below. Like, subscribe, share. I know my floss tube is a little bit different than a lot of other floss tubes. Thank you so much if you watched to the end. Thank you to all my returning and my new viewers. I hope you had a good time. Bye, everybody.